Athletic has put out power rankings that have the Commanders 27th in the NFL after the draft. 27th in the NFL. There was one, I think it was Bleacher Report, had them 30 in the NFL. There are only 32 teams. Now, I would like to remind everybody that has seemingly forgot that the Washington Commanders, amidst a fairly disastrous season in a lot of respects, finished in the middle of the pack last year. They were 8-1, dead on 500, and that by record puts them at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16th, literally dead even in the middle of the league. I don't understand how you have a team that has gotten better after finishing 16th, has not lost any important parts, has gained at some key positions, is going to be that much worse this year than last. I know a lot of this stems from the fact that Sam Howell is going to be their quarterback. And I would simply say this. Carson Wentz was so bad last year that if Sam Howell is merely competent, plays at the level that essentially Taylor Heineke did consistently over the course of a season, they should win 8 or 9 games. And that's not even counting the fact that Sam Howell might be good. Now, he might also be bad. He might throw many interceptions. He might make many bad reads. He might get knocked out, in which case, actually, they have Jacoby Brissett, who was a top 10 quarterback in the league last year by QBR. So maybe there is a floor underneath them. Oh, but their offensive line, they didn't address it. Oh, you mean the one with 4 new players? Oh, but they had a lot of issues last year offensively. They just could never put it together. Oh, so they brought in a completely new system and a new guy to coordinate it, who's been the offensive coordinator for 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls? That guy? How many rings he got? I'm not telling you this team's going to be awesome, but the disrespect is hilarious. Like, not the disrespect, Anthony, is not like, how could you? To me, it is genuinely hilarious. Like, there are certain things that people say about sports where I instantaneously know they have no idea what they're talking about. Where they just don't, their opinion is not really worth listening to. And I realize here I am giving these rankings attention. And I'm kind of singling the Athletic out here, though, because a lot of other folks are doing this as well. But the idea that they're not going to be a better football team than the Chicago Bears, who I think could be a lot better, is laughable to me.
I'm just looking at the teams that they have the Commanders surrounded by. You know, the Colts, the Titans, the Texans, the Bucks, the Cardinals. Teams that are sort of kind of undergoing a rebuild. And I think we're past that. As you already alluded to, we didn't really lose much from last year's team as far as, like, key pieces go. Yeah, we might be losing Norwell. Yes, we cut Carson Wentz. But those pieces brought them down. Exactly. So I think as we look forward to the new year, I mean, we do have a new quarterback in play. So I guess our ranking is sort of reflective of how they feel about Sam Howell ultimately, because the defense is pretty much the same, not a lot of new parts. And then offensively, we still have the same weapons. So I think it's more reflective on how the Athletic feels about Sam Howell. I think that's exactly, or it's Eric Bieniemy as well.
So, draft take. This is what their write-up says, right? Draft takeaway: drafting the wildly undersized Emmanuel Forbes at number 16 over Gonzalez, as in Christian Gonzalez, might have been the biggest single position-specific reach of the draft. That's just a dumb take. Like, I'm sorry. I think this guy's name is Bo Wolf. Maybe we can get Bo on the show. Sorry, the Athletic is always great to us. So but just that's such a lazy take. Of the wildly undersized. He's 6'1". He's not 5'8", 166. He's not a peanut out there. You're not gonna flip on the tape and be like, oh, who let the Who let the Pee Wee football player onto the field? Who let the middle schooler out there? Emmanuel Forbes is a big, long, 6'1" corner who is light, but he's not wildly undersized. His measurables outside of weight are literally ideal for the position. Great arm length, good height, excellent speed, good explosiveness in terms of his raw athletic score is good. He's just light. And that matters, but it doesn't matter a lot at corner. And he's not going to play at 166. Is he going to play at 190? No. But there's a lot of dudes playing in the league at 180, 175. Not 166. Well, 166 was his combine weight. He's going to be fine. So we just disagree on that. And I'd rather have the slightly underweight by the time the season rolls around. Again, I'm assuming he'll be like 175 or so. Slightly underweight at that point. Hyper-competitive, great ball skills guy than a guy in Gonzalez who, and again, like I like Gonzalez a lot more pre-draft, but you start to hear things post-draft and you get more information. So I admit, like, yeah, you could go pull a clip of me saying something opposite before the draft, but Gonzalez, there are questions about his drive. There are questions about how bad he wants it. And there are questions about how he would fit in the scheme here. There's none of those questions about Emmanuel Forbes. I'm fine with the pick.
But I think also if you look at the Athletics big board, they had Emmanuel Forbes, mocked as a second rounder, 43, behind Keely Ringo, who they had at 32, the Deontay Banks, who they had at 34. So them calling Forbes is a reach, I understand why. So I think it's more so predicated to just, how they feel about, the Commanders. And a lot of people are down on Sam Howell.
If you had Keely Ringo ahead of Emmanuel Forbes, you need to rethink. I'm dead serious. Like, I'm not funny ha here. You need to learn more about scouting. Oh. You need to learn more about how mental makeup and mental processing and consistency leads to results as opposed to high-end talent. Keely Ringo might work out in Philly. And look, he works out in Philly, and this looks silly. This clip looks really dumb in a couple years. I get it. But he is a guy that will benefit a lot from being around the Darius Slays of the world. And that was not true if he went a lot of other places. So we'll see if he pans out. He might actually not pan out and not be very good and might have been a total flyer in the fourth round for Philly. But come on. And then their downer, how much can a full season of Sam Howell and a pair of mid-round interior offensive linemen really be expected to improve the number 28 offense by DVOA? That's a lot to put on Eric Bieniemy's shoulders. Like, dude, did you watch them last year? Did you watch how bad Carson Wentz was? That's a big sample size of their season. He started, 7, 8 games by the time it was done? He started like half their season, and he was terrible for almost all of it. And also, yeah, they had massive center problems. So, I don't know, getting a starting caliber center seems like it would be a big deal. Having a different quarterback seems like it would be a big deal. They had a lot of scheme-oriented issues and couldn't get the ball to their playmakers. Eric Bieniemy knows how to do that. That seems like a big deal. So I just think maybe I will feel differently a year from now. Maybe I will back off what I think scheme is capable of doing in the league. But I watched Jay Gruden and Sean McVay and Kevin O'Connell take a lot of pretty untalented teams in terms of skill positions a long way with scheme. And this team is so much more talented from a roster standpoint than anything they've had here, or anything they had in the era I covered, the Gruden era, outside of 15-16, when they had Jackson, Garcon, and a young Jamison Crowder. And even then, I put these guys up with them. So, like, I will admit, I can make a case for a lot of these teams. I can make a case for the Falcons. I can make a case for the Packers, but I would not put them up ahead of Washington with where I think those teams are right now and where this team is. To me, that's if you're gonna make the leap on projection of talent, I'd rather do it with Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson, Sam Howell, etc., and a top 10, possibly top 5 defense, oh, by the way, than Desmond Ridder and a running game and a mid-tier defense at best in Atlanta. That's just me, though. That's just me. It's the Hoffman Show on the Team 980, always live on the free Odyssey app. When we get back, we dive into the darkest, deepest part of the internet, the comments section. Bum, bum, bum. Let's never read the comments next on the Hoffman Show.
This is the Hoffman Show on the Team 980 and the Odyssey app.